All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to our live stream for earnings on Netflix. Good afternoon, Peter. How's your
Hello.
day been?
It's been interesting with some interesting moves in the market here this afternoon. Especially, I still don't know why. What the heck was that weird move that happened about an hour ago at 3:45 or whatever it was? I was in a trade short. I'd literally got in the minute before, and then the thing just dropped on me, and I was and I took a partial and then got stopped out. Like it all happened within 30 seconds on what I thought was going to be like a 20-minute trade. So. It just goes to show you never know.
Yeah,
Weird.
which ticker were you in? What ticker?
Apple. I was
Oh,
looking
you're
at
still
Apple.
you're still messing around with Apple today.
Still messing with Apple, yeah.
I hear you, man. Um, yeah, it has not been the easiest type of trading day. We definitely had easier ones before, but throughout this week and last week even. But yeah, glad you survived that. Um,
Yep.
All right, we have Jared. We have Brian. I got to show you Brian. Brian is in his very cozy. I don't know what this is, office or not, but he's got the guitar in the back. He's looking very very nice there
Yeah.
as he's joining us for today. So, all
Yeah.
right, let's jump right to it with our YouTube family and also our friends over on our members tab. Let's get to the talk of the town today is Netflix. We've been seeing
Netflix.
this stock just tear it up, go through struggles, and recently they've just been on the up and up, Peter. Right? So take us through it, then we'll see what else we can pull off of this.
Look, again, I keep saying, what a crazy world in which Netflix is considered a pseudo security stock. So earlier this week, JP Morgan announced, was doing their analytics stuff, and they produced a statement that said that Netflix is deemed the most resilient company it tracks. And they think that it's on track to become a $1 trillion company. Not right away. They said by 2030, but really some bullish statements for Netflix. This earnings, look, this is not a definitive earnings statement, right? It's earnings in the middle of this strange tariff environment that we're in, to which Netflix is somewhat immune, I guess. I don't actually know how it's going to affect Netflix business. Like you can tariff anything, I suppose, and you can always put a tax on it if you really want to. But the expectation is Netflix is going to be fairly resilient. As people may curtail other types of spending or travel or things, but may sort of retreat back to their sofas and start to take advantage of more online media such as Netflix. Like we said, their earnings are supposed to be coming out, I think, right at 4 o'clock today. So should be should come out right on the heels of the close. The anticipation is they're going to earn a record at $10.5 billion. That's the consensus analyst estimate, with earnings of something like 2.4, $2.5 billion in income, net income, which would equate to about $5.69 a share. So pretty much, I mean, that's an amazing profit margin, despite all the money they spend on good and not so good shows. If you've been on Netflix, I'm sure you've seen they've got some great shows and great movies that they've produced out there, and they've got some real horrible stuff. So I guess you can't win
Yeah,
them all,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I'm sure somebody loves every one of them. Um, I'm very interested to see where Netflix is going to go. This is a high price stock, right? So it's not a typical day trading stock, only in that it's about $1,000 and sitting right now at about $970. It's hovering in the zone that it's within very easy reach of going over $1,000. This is me speculating now, but I'm wondering if at some point they may want to split the stock, but they could be taking a view that they'd rather not be as aggressively traded as some of the other offerings, because it comes with upside, but it also comes with some risk. And maybe in this market condition, it would make sense that maybe they would say we'll stay the course for now. But anyway, sitting here, they've had let's look at the day. Yeah, pretty as I would expect, a relatively non-eventful day, right? The stock price hasn't moved all that far today. Not really a surprise. Usually ahead of earnings, they don't move a lot. And then, of course, after the big market movement we had yesterday, as we were talking about this morning, we sort of expected things to be in a inside day type mode. We would trade inside the range of yesterday's price action. And sure enough, for the most part, we have been. So here we sit for Netflix now. I've seen some estimates of what the expected move is based on the option chain activity, but we'll let Jared give us those details. So, how far do we think Netflix could go up or down if they hit or miss those numbers? Or, probably more importantly, I should add before I hand over to him, Netflix is often driven not by their earnings. We know that most companies are usually driven by the forecast, but even more important for Netflix, it's usually subscribers. Everybody wants to know how many subscribers they've got and how that subscriber base has grown. So that's a big number to watch here as Netflix earnings come out. Everybody's going to want to see some very positive numbers in terms of their subscribers.
Well, wait, I thought they were going to try to get rid of that subscriber base, and maybe
They
Jared
well,
knows.
they are last quarter. What they said was the last quarter they were actually going to produce the independent numbers that they had listed, as far as I'm aware. That being said,
Yes.
I gotta think people are still gonna be looking for it, but I don't know what it's gonna look like. Are they just gonna be silent on it? Like, are they not gonna produce
Yeah, I
anything,
think.
or I don't know.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, from what I've just heard this morning, they are not going to provide any subscriber
Mm,
information at all.
Hmm.
That was the last quarter where they were going to do that. So
right.
don't expect to hear anything about increases or decreases in subscriber growth.
So,
So
which to
Interesting.
me means that it may be interesting when we get to the management. Usually, there's a Q&A, right, when they have analysts and they release the earnings. And I don't know if that's happening right at 4 or sometime later. There's got to be some questions about that. Somebody's asking, and
yeah,
Yeah.
they'll presumably dance around it, but it will be. Anyways, we'll see what happens. Look, all we know is at 4 o'clock the numbers should hit the wire, and we'll get to see what the price action is.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Jared, give us what our expected move today is. I see our screen here is a little funky. I'm going to fix it now because we had it set up for aiming earlier today. So just give me a second as we get your screen looking somewhat decent here.
Make them
Yeah,
look, help them look pretty. Come on.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's very pretty.
feel free to make it all nice and clean. But while you go ahead and adjust that, I'll start off with a little bit of a preface because this is our first official YouTube's earnings live on YouTube for this earnings season. And with
Yes.
that, I hope everybody's enjoying it so far, but we do need to kind of go over what is on deck for the expected move and where this number actually comes from. So before we get into it, let's talk about the expected move. It is a value or a range that it's established by the option market. And the option market is a market outside of the actual stock, but has a lot of key relationships with how the stock moves and what the future price volatility is being projected to be. So in most cases, we're looking at the option market to get a sense of maybe bullish or bearish bias. Sometimes we're looking to see if there's a lot of call or put buying at different price ranges. And when it comes to earnings, we're actually just looking at how much volatility is being priced in to the stock. And that is where we're going to get our expected move. So oftentimes when we start looking at this, we shift over into our option chain on whatever platform you're working on. And Netflix is a little bit of an anomaly as of the fact that the market is closed tomorrow. So I'll talk about that as well. Right
Wow,
now,
it's funny you mentioned that, Jared. I was already thinking about trading it tomorrow morning, and you're
mhm,
right. We're close.
yep.
So
So there's
this is
no trade
yeah,
interesting.
tomorrow. Yep.
Yeah, good point. Good
yeah.
point.
And that's really what makes it weird about, because usually your options expire on Friday, but all the options are expiring today because it is end of week.
Exactly. Exactly. So what I've done is I'm still going to be using the weekly option series, but I'm treating this stock as if it's reporting on Friday. And As far as I'm aware, there's not many stocks that do a Friday afternoon report. Usually it's Friday morning for some of the banks, and occasionally like Saturday morning for Berkshire Hathaway. There aren't many stocks that do a Friday afternoon report because of this reason. So I think there's kind of a weird discrepancy with the expected move, but I still need to just look at it from the short term volatility and also next week's. Um, this particular option series, you'll notice there's a number right up at the top right hand side of the screen. Normally I can annotate that with this right here. And what we're looking at here is this is what the option implied volatility suggests the move to be. Usually in earnings, the move is happening after hours or even in the morning. And the option market is basically trying to give us that value or that expectation of price movement prior to the earnings themselves. In this case, because these options are not going to be able to be managed tomorrow morning, it is weird to basically use this number, but normally we would just take this number as our expected move. And this would be our relative fence line. You know, this is where we expect the stock to live inside of in a normal standard deviation of probability. So there are some issues, of course, with how this is going to work, and with a plus or minus $54 expected move, I've already drawn out what the expected move should be from a price perspective. So as I go back into the chart, if this lets me, the expected move here with a $55 expectation would put the stock higher at 1,025 and lower at 915. The issue is the fact that I keep mentioning, if we're not going to be able to manage positions, or the marketplace can't manage positions, I'm questioning whether the next week's implied volatility is a little bit more reflective of it, even though there's an additional 7 days left. And if you want to take that number into account, it's priced right now at about 85, maybe closer to 90. Netflix normally does move pretty significant. And if you recall last earnings on Netflix, we closed out the day prior at about 870 a share, and we opened up at 1,000. So it was a significant breach at the time. That particular earnings was pricing about 70 some odd dollars of expected move, and we doubled it. So at that time, that was considered a 2 standard deviation breach. This one being priced at plus or minus 55 does seem a bit low, but I think it's because of the Good Friday closing of the marketplace. So I'm kind of giving this one maybe a little bit of wiggle room just because there's a weird dynamic going on with how the option market has priced this reaction. But hopefully these numbers will still be helpful, because even if it moves a little bigger, you do want to expect it to move at least $55 and maybe a little bit more. Barring all of that, there is a technical price range that you want to be aware of on Netflix, and it does sit with resistance at 1,000. We did move to 1,000. We even breached 1,000 afterwards, but we did fall apart. And right now there is more of a range style price action on Netflix, all the way down to the year-to-date low. So like most stocks, you know, some stocks are down this year, some stocks are up this year. Netflix is up, simply because it hasn't breached the year-to-date low or the year-to-date open. But from a trading range perspective, we are closer to resistance. And therefore, I'm still looking maybe for a move higher, but I'm careful if they use that to drop price again, you know, and just keep it in this range. So we have an expected move range, we have a technical range, we have the concept that this stock is resilient and maybe not as impacted by the tariff catastrophe that we're going through. But net, there's still some price nuances here that I think should be respected. And whether we're using previous earnings levels or the technical levels, even the expected move, there's quite a bit of room for the stock to do quite significant movement, especially with what's going on. So that's it.
Yeah. Can't wait to see, man. I'm still thinking about tomorrow. I was like, wow, that's, you brought that up and I completely forgot about it. All right. And this was happening right at 4, Peter. I think you mentioned, right? So right at 4, we're going to start getting the numbers on this one. So about
Should be, yeah.
10 minutes or so.
Correct.
Good. All right. Good, man. Guys over on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see how this live trading does. Normally, I would say, I won't trade the earnings, but I will watch it tomorrow. I'm not going to do that, obviously. But we'll see how the trading pans out here. It is a difficult stock to trade, the day trade. Day trading itself when the market is open. Jared, I don't know if you're going to like this one. I know you typically trade earnings.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is going to set up nice.
This is going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
With the way the expected move is set up, with the fact that, I don't know, there might be some weird dynamics going on, because I don't know if every trader in this market realizes that if they open an option contract, they might get assigned on this thing.
Yeah.
That could easily
it's
cause
not
the
fun.
market maker to do some weird stuff, even if it's temporary. But I'll be looking for reactions. I don't think I'll be like aggressive if I do trade it. And if I have like a bias on it, I think we're going to move up and then sell down. So I think they're going to move it up first and then immediately reverse it. So I'm actually a little bearish on it right now.
Yeah. As we wait here, questions in chat. Is Netflix immune to tariffs? I don't know, but think about it. If people are not traveling, because obviously travel is the first thing that gets hit, whether business or pleasure, travel gets hit. You're stuck at home. You got extra money. You're probably gonna keep some of these memberships, right? And I don't see why not. They probably do very well during this time. And let's say, for example, they already have this where they have regulations where you can watch certain things in certain countries. Like when I'm in Canada, there's certain shows that I watch or movies that says, hey, you can't log in from here because you're showing you're in Canada. And then you could do the VPN and get stuff and get around it. But they already have these ways to block certain countries if they need to. So if there's some kind of restriction or tariff, this is already part of their system. It's nothing new to them. And I can see how expensive it will be to block certain shows in certain regions, right? So they do that now already. So
Yeah.
wow. Yeah.
It's interesting. A lot of interesting stuff happening today, especially with the Qs and the SPY. We've had a lot of movement up and down. It's been pretty choppy. Everybody's on edge. The latest thing is Trump and Powell sort of having a set to, and and so that I think Peter was questioning why we sort of sold off there. I think there were sort of more sort of, wouldn't call them threats, but more indications that there was going to be maybe some move to try to take Powell out again. So anyway, it's the drama continues basically.
Right.
It could be a good boxing match between those two. That could be prime time Vegas. I don't know who I will vote for. It could go either way there, man. That could be pretty nice. It won't last more than 2 rounds. Somebody's gonna break their hip, but it'll be fun.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know that would decide anything, but all right.
Well, yeah. What happened to? I thought Zuckerberg and Musk were going to go at it. That was going to be the big
they
ticket.
called that one off.
Musk does not want none of that Zuckerberg business,
No.
man. The guy's like
No.
kicking and doing all this. Nah, yeah. Musk get his ass
Yeah,
kicked
yeah.
on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think Zuckerberg had been training for that matchup. So anyway,
Yep.
yeah, lots of fun, lots of entertainment, if nothing else.
Absolutely. Peter, how you doing with your
yeah,
1 to 10 as we're getting into the close here?
I'm watching Nvidia. I had tried a short on Nvidia and then got out, and then when it popped up, I tried it again. I'm still in this thing, but it's not dropping as I had hoped. So if it comes back to my break even, which is only a few cents above the current price, so there you go. I'm out. So there you go. So yeah, all done. Didn't work out today. No 1 to 10. 1 to 10s have not been that lucrative recently. That's the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they work,
Yeah.
sometimes they don't.
That's it.
Wow. I think, what do you think for Nvidia? Maybe breaching 100. Yeah, it did, I guess. Didn't quite do it today, but again, we're going out pretty with a pretty ugly candle, to be honest.
Yeah.
Ugly daily
Yeah.
candle.
Today it came darn close, didn't it? 105 cents.
Yep,
And,
exactly. Yep.
Just bounced there.
Pretty
But
much every trader was trying to facilitate the fills of 100 at the morning session, and pretty much every
Yeah.
trader is disappointed because the market maker couldn't do it. So I
Yeah.
mean, we were
There was
all looking at it, and it's like they kept trying, but every time we got close to it, they'd back up. So
yeah,
eventually the sellers
was
left.
there was 600,000 over 600,000 shares sitting at that $100 mark,
I think
according
I think
on the
there's
level two.
I think there's a lot more because it was more than
Even more.
one,
Yeah.
just like large order. It kept building.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I 100% agree with you there. Yeah. So yeah. What else is not looking great? Tesla's not looking great on a daily. Yeah, a lot of the Mag 7, none of them look particularly attractive here.
United
Amazon.
Healthcare doesn't look great. It's down 22% after its earnings.
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I mean that is a massive drop. It basically lost all of that rally that was created like since
Wow.
the largest sell-off. So it just went
Yep.
straight to that line. And yeah, I mean it's a precise hit, but man, whatever they said, market did not like it.
No
Yeah.
kidding. It was a hard trade
So
at the
Pete-
open. I was watching it, but didn't find a good entry, which is too bad because clearly it did sell off. Even intraday, it had a good $35 move. But
Yeah, so PLTR is looking a little more promising on a daily. Apple's held on to green today. So see, there's a few stocks that don't look too bad. But again, we're really in an environment where any bit of news can throw this market one way or another in a violent way.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to take a position over the long weekend for sure.
well, that's what we're talking about with the long weekend. I mean, that it's unlimited time for tweets. There's just so much that could be sent
Yeah.
out, right? And it used to be you wouldn't expect governmental or sort of political news over the weekends, but or the big economic announcements. Nowadays, they can come out at any
Yeah.
time. So
Come out anytime and at any hour. Could be at 3 a.m.
exactly,
Yeah.
certainly could.
So
Especially now that
and
we're throwing jabs back and forth between the U.S. and China, it is a 24/7 grudge match out there. So
yeah. Well, it does look like people are feeling a little bit positive about these Netflix earnings, which are coming in a couple minutes here. Netflix is up 1.33% today,
mhm.
so we'll have to wait and see. And I think Macron, or the French guy, is coming to the U.S. on the weekend. So who knows what could come out of that meeting.
The French guy.
French guy, Macron. I was going to say Macron, but I don't know. They
he
keep
still-
trading. Yeah,
He's still
is
in
he
charge?
still?
Uh,
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
That's I don't know, but the French guy,
The French guy. Yeah. I don't know.
CNBC. Let's see.
I think he's still in charge.
Yeah, I think so. I thought I saw some news cycle there where he said he was coming for a meeting this weekend. So
Emmanuel Macron. Do you know he's also a co-prince of Andorra?
yeah, I knew you had some kind of relationship with a different country.
Huh. Okay.
So there you go. Anyway, we're 1 minute away or less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to trade this. I think I'm just going to sit on the sidelines and watch. But we'll closing bell in 1 minute.
All right, here we go. If you missed it, the
Anybody?
move here, Jared 65, you said?
55.
55. 55. All right.
Yeah.
Anybody
All right, guys.
on YouTube taking a
Yeah.
position here?
Getting close to close here. Just a few seconds away. 2, 1. All right. Let's see what we get now.
Well, there's a bit of a dip.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It had a $5 spread.
Yeah, that's the problem with Netflix as well as.
Yeah, you can get these really nasty spreads here.
Yeah.
Got a couple of levels marked up here. Just general resistance at 1,000. Our expected move high. I guess you can move it to 1,030 because we close right around 975. So give it an extra $5 higher. And I guess move the expected move low as well. I put some of those supports in year-to-date lows just in case they like completely fall apart. But I don't know if we'll get down that low. I'm hoping for a move higher and then a swipe.
Oh, here we go.
Here's the move higher. Let's see if they sell it.
Move higher. Yeah.
Oh,
There you go.
Jesus. This thing is.
Yeah.
Now we've got a $17 spread.
How do you trade that? Take one share.
I'm thinking like, oh, maybe I'll take a few shares and just see how it goes. But I mean, how do you can't.
Yeah.
You can't with that type of spread. That's nuts. All right. Let's see.
Yeah, we know it's not gonna be an Nvidia spread, but look at this.
Oops.
Down, up.
Up, down, up, down.
I don't like the location of either of these moves. I think it needs to go higher first.
My good.
We haven't hit the right levels to sell. So it's already kind of bouncing back here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if we can get it over 1,000 and then really sell it. But no position yet. Waiting.
Might not make it to 1,000. It looks weak. Let's see.
Sometimes you have to be in the right spot to get the move.
Yeah.
What are my positions? I have no positions right now. I'm just watching. I do have a bit of PLTR for swing trade on right now. Should be.
All right. Here we go. We got some numbers here. It looks like Netflix beat on revenue and earnings. Not by much, though. 10.54 billion on revenue versus 10.52 roughly on the forecast estimate, and earnings per share pretty good actually, $6.61 versus $5.74. So that would imply about, what is that? That's like a little over 3 billion in terms of profit. So
that's good.
Money in the bank. Now, the forecast will be the interesting, are they going to pull, like a lot of companies, and pull their forecast, right? That's what we've been hearing a lot. Are they going to hold their forecast? I mean, it's all options are on the table in this economic environment.
Is the forecast out yet or no, Peter?
I don't see the guidance. Wait, here it is. Guidance. Looks like they are going to hold their guidance. In fact, they're going to guide a little higher than analyst expectations at on the next quarter. Revenue of 11 billion versus 10.9, and earnings of about $7.03 versus $6.27. So one of the few companies we've seen over the last week or so with earnings that have actually not only held their guidance but gone towards the top end.
Yeah,
And
nice.
it looks like the best options play would have been like a butterfly or something. Just sell premium up and down, because it doesn't look like we're gonna at this point
Yeah, we're
doesn't look like
Staying
there's going to
put.
get much of a move. Yeah.
Yeah, staying put. It could be.
no,
It could be because we're off tomorrow. I think Jared, you mentioned this. Obviously, it's just a weird situation to be in for earnings. You don't get the action
yeah.
tomorrow. Going to a long holiday weekend. Yeah, it's just in a weird spot.
Yeah. Usually the option dynamics and the movement that we see in the earnings reaction is a very heavily weighted towards how the options are positioned. I think with this one, most of the professional trade would have moved to the next weekly series, and therefore the market maker doesn't really have to move the asset, at least until next week. So
Right.
we
We've
might
got a
not
whole
be
week.
able to see any price movement because of that. They kind of
Mm,
price like the volatility of the earnings, but not necessarily the large positioning of the institutions. So.
yeah.
So it was always a weird one. I didn't really know what to expect on this one because as far as how you're supposed to do expected move, this one's an anomaly from the option market.
Yeah, I would think that
All
news
right.
would
Well,
pump it up a little more, but I guess not.
yeah, it's like nothing to see here.
Yeah, so
So
far.
Brian's
Not
like,
much
I'm
to
out of
see.
here.
yeah, I think I'm gonna go and work on my weekend swing trade video. So if you guys, I'll leave it to you. Have a great weekend, everybody. Long weekend. Enjoy. And
Yes.
yeah, I'll be putting out my weekend recap video probably tomorrow, so you can check that out. It's on
Yep.
YouTube under my name. And yeah, we'll see you all Monday morning.
All right, sweet, Brian. We're gonna stick
See you.
around. I'm gonna stick
Later.
around a little bit longer here, see what happens. But yeah, man,
Yeah.
we'll look forward to that video on your channel. Just search Brian Pessum on YouTube, and he comes right up, and you can see what's taking place there. But yeah, let's see. It's starting to heat up a little bit here. Let's see if we get something. Just trying to get going here. So
Yeah, it's there's really no orders anywhere on level 2. I see some 990s. Uh, I don't see any downside, so even if I wanted to sell this thing, it needs to go up first. And I think that's the issue. We're not in a good place to buy it or sell it, and maybe that's why it's not moving. There's no real large hands in this price range.
yeah,
But the technical suggests that this area is for selling. So if it shoots up to 1,000, I still expect it to roll over. I just don't know if we'll get there
yeah.
tonight.
So your take on this one is we're heading south.
We're heading north to go south more.
Yeah.
We have to go up to go down correctly.
Yeah.
And I think if you're playing the short-term action, there's more topside. So
Gotcha.
it might be worth filling 990, or if I start seeing 1,000, that's where price is going. But what happens later might be worse than what we've seen. So
Yeah.
you'd have to be careful. You couldn't buy it too high and all of a sudden it turns around on you.
Yeah. It's daily looks good too, man. I was looking at the daily. This looks very interesting. Given the spot where we're at, that daily looks like it wants to get going here.
Mm-hmm. And
So-
look, we're filling 990s right now.
Yeah.
So
Just trying.
it's working. If you follow price action, I would have definitely shot up first, but we'll see. We'll see if it stays up there. I don't know. I have my own thesis.
Yeah. For those joining us, yeah, and Netflix is already out, so the earnings are now. Peter already set the numbers. Again, they did okay in their forecast. They're not pulling it like many other companies. They're keeping it, and they increased it slightly. You said, Peter, right? Slight increase
Yeah,
on
to
it.
the high end of estimates. So yeah, it looks positive.
Yeah, so higher than what um, the analysts were expecting as far as the outlook. So few companies going the opposite direction. I like the way United Airlines did it. They were perfect, man. They said, "Hey, if this happens, this is it. If this happens, this is it." Because this market is so dynamic. I think more companies gotta start thinking like that. One tweet, one message, one wrong turn can get things going aggressively one way or the other. So gotta be prepared for several outcomes. It can't be just one anymore. We gotta be multi-dimensional here, I think. So yeah.
Multi-dimensional.
Yeah, multi-dimensional, multi something.
Sounds intense.
Yeah, linear is not working no more, right? You gotta.
Yeah, gotta have multiple avenues and be able to appease the consumer and the investor. How are you supposed to do that?
Well,
So,
if you
Jared,
have,
I took your word at it that this was going to go up to go down. Although I'm very
wait, did you go
very
short?
price sensitive. I did. I went short at 990.
In Jared's
990
defense, in Jared's defense, he said, "Wait till it gets to
and
1,000."
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, I see them filling orders topside. The issue is that there's no downside. So whatever whatever the market maker wants, they'll probably fill the larger orders first, and price will go up. But if I start seeing more bid,
Yeah,
it's because it's ready to drop. And that's the hard part, is like waiting for the right moment to attack. So
yeah, you probably need more patience on this than I'm willing to provide. So I just got back out at break even. I don't want to play with it. Like you said, if I saw a big spike high and like over 1,000, then that might be a little more enticing.
Yeah.
But I thought I'd just see in the short term what I could get. But
yeah, it's trying here. Friends over on YouTube, if you haven't done so already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. We're going to be going back into our earnings season, so we'll be doing this a lot more often for the big names. And I think, I'm not sure if next week or the following week, we start seeing some pretty heavier names that are going to be doing the earnings. So join us, subscribe so you can get notified when we go live with these earnings coverage.
Indeed. Okay, well, nothing to see here. Keep in mind, everybody, again, market is closed tomorrow, so there's no active trading. We have no activities in the room, no pre-market show. So Carlos and I are going to see you guys on Monday.
Yes.
And I hope you have a good Easter weekend, whether you celebrate or not. Enjoy. You got a day off, whether you want it or not. At least a day off from
That's
trading.
true. Usually our friends in Europe will come in and email us saying, "Hey, where are you guys? There's somebody not watching this, not getting this announcement." And they'll be like, "What's going on? I can't get into the room," or something funky like that. It's always fun. There's always one.
It's always
one. I want to hold a little bit here, Peter. You might get a move now, man. Is this don't join?
I'm not just gonna keep chasing this thing. I took my shot. It didn't work.
Yeah. I hear you, man.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, as far as movement is concerned, this move is pretty slow. So even if it does turn around, it might be just as slow to reverse. So we're kind of playing with like, this is a $975 stock, and we're looking at a $20 move. It's not big.
Yeah, it's just not right.
But and they're lifting they're lifting the ask here, so it looks like they are trying to pull it higher. So yeah, look at they're not getting a lot of fills, but I see the ask keep lifting. So 995.75, 995, 996 now. See they're trying to entice it higher.
There you go. Okay.
Let's see what happens at 1,000. We're inching our way up there. Might get our spike after all.
Yeah, it's going for it.
Yeah. First you got to target it, and then you got to see what happens around it. So. A
Yeah, the fact
thousand.
I'm with you though, Jared. The fact that I did it so slow, you might not get the flush down,
Hmm.
you know, that we're kind of looking for here. So might be a
Yeah.
tough trade.
Let's see. We're almost home here. 999, 999 80s. Let's see what happens at a
Yeah.
thousand.
There we go.
Oh,
Touched
there's a
it.
thousand.
Whoa.
Okay, we're over. Now let's see what they do with it here. So if you're long, basically you don't have anything to worry about, and this is just reaching. So I'll see if it rejects at any point, but it's turning a little bit better. It's getting a little faster.
Yeah,
Started
it's getting some
slow.
more action because it's actually moving somewhere. It's actually
Hmm.
moving. But wow, this 106.
Still, I mean, look at the volume. Still very low volume here.
Yeah,
So,
Right.
low volume.
Right.
At least it's in a direction now, right? So,
Yep.
but yeah, I don't think you short this. Careful,
Well,
guys.
not
I don't
yet.
think you
Not
short this.
yet.
My
Gotta
goodness. 10
gotta
10. Let's
wait.
go. 10 10 wins.
Let's see.
Saul, you're long. You're asking for if you want to take it out now. I mean, that's your call, man. But if you're long, you're sitting pretty here.
Yeah.
So,
That's it's good to have targets no matter what. And I think
yeah.
that's the whole point of trading is if it does move up, I want to know how far. I want to know what's in front of me. Expected move is good. There's price resistance. There's all these things that could easily be your target because we're not at all-time highs. There's always stuff in the way.
right.
What
Yeah.
you want to do is look at how it's moving now and ask yourself, do I see any problems with it? Is it, rejecting? Is it, not really volatile enough? And at that point, you can make your own judgment call because someone who's trying to do the opposite isn't really stepping into this. And that just means that it might keep drifting higher. So, there's no selling on it right now.
Yeah. It's funny when Peter read out those earnings. This is what I was expecting, given how good they sounded to go higher,
Mm.
not to 10, 16, 10, 20. I mean, this is just oh my god, it's on a tear. But I expected this initial move to go up with that announcement, but it's just stalled, and somehow now we're getting a really nice move. Look at the daily here. We're crushing it.
Yeah, we
Um,
just hit a 1020 here. We're still looking at expected here. I'm about to hit my fence line. So 1024. We're getting there. Looks like the dog went to the fence. I think we still
we
have a good
we
dog here.
we
So
need
now we
some
have to
gives
see
and pinches.
if
Yeah.
if the shock collar works at the
Yeah,
property line or not.
yeah. Let's see. Looks like we're stepping down just a bit here, but that was a nice run up. So congrats. The Bulls definitely had something there.
Yeah, nice move. That was nice to see. That was nice. Beautiful thing, man. Beautiful thing. Netflix. Yeah, like Peter was saying earlier, this is a safe haven now for investors, right? Netflix, and what's the other one you mentioned, Peter? Is Netflix and the other one people like to go to? Something else you mentioned this morning.
Did I?
What?
I don't
Yeah,
remember
what's
what
the? Yeah, it was Netflix and something else. I forgot. It was funny when you said it, man.
I forgot too.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back to the tape. Um, but yeah, here you go, 1021. And again, just not a whole lot of volume, just slowly climbing higher.
Right. I don't see too much more to fill as far as like orders. The next major seller is at 1040, which is really far away. So they might just kind of step away for now because there isn't really a structure to run. Once we broke 1,000, it kind of just like lifted for a while, and some sellers got filled, but I didn't necessarily see size. So if there's no more larger sellers up here, we might go sideways, and I would say like stall is kind of the concept. So we'll see. There's no bid. There's definitely no one like asking it back down yet. No one with size. So that should hopefully keep you kind of in the trade, but I'm not sure if we have any more topside either. We might have run it out here.
Come on, Netflix.
Peter, you long? You long, Peter? Let's do this. Peter's
I'm
long
always
again.
short.
Yeah,
long.
Peter's short. Yeah, Peter
know.
doesn't long.
I can't help it. I don't understand why, but that's
Pe-
just me.
Peter likes to see things crash. You know, like to see
He
things
sees-
crash.
I
And
I can't help but short things. I don't know.
He sees
why
all
that's
the
why.
green candles and he's like, just give me one red candle and I'll
Just
take
give
it.
me a red. That's right.
I don't care where
Short.
it is. Just give me the red candle.
oh man, so
Well, we
funny.
got the we got that uncertainty doji, right? A little bit of
Yeah.
flattening there at 1020. So I took my shot and I thought, you know what? If it goes over the high of day, I had a $5 risk
Mhm.
up to the
Oh, here it is.
1025.
I think the main issue is even when we're trying to take a trade, just getting filled at a good price is
Yeah, that's.
little
I was
difficult.
really watching the bid ask carefully. I waited for a point at which it narrowed quite a bit, and
mhm.
I mean, you got guys like keep in mind. I just took like, I've got like 30 shares here. Like I'm not playing.
Yeah, that's all you need with this ticker. You know,
Well, it's,
I mean,
you know,
this is
Maybe $20. That's.
yeah.
But anyways,
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't
And-
want to go crazy on this.
A couple of questions too, like we're really only looking at this from the lens of what's happening now because as we mentioned before, the market's not open and we're not going to be able to trade this tomorrow. So this was the only opportunity to do anything on Netflix outside of maybe an option trader who did something that was more, I would say, credit based and hoping
Right.
not to get the assignment risk. But it's a move, but it's a relatively quiet move, and it is what's expected. I mean, as far as the total volatility, we just moved $50 and we expected 55. So even if it pops a little bit more, this is almost exactly what was expected. And it's a good showcase that the option market tends to get it right pretty often. Even if it's not what we want as a voluminous type of move. So,
Yeah,
but a bit of a grind.
100%, man.
Take a journal. That's weird.
My hope is that on Monday, this will already be starting to sell back down from these levels, and then I'll just be aggressively shorting it all day. And that'll be my dream over the weekend. Because I am not bullish at these levels. I just think it's not ready to move down. It's a weird thing about markets. Sometimes, in order to move something down, you have to move it sideways for a long time.
Yeah.
And that's how trends usually change. It's a nice uptrend on the weekly chart and the recovery and everything, but the way it's moving up here, it feels like it's trying to change, and I think I'm just waiting to see the bigger volume changes taking place.
Yeah. If it doesn't make a new high here, Peter, this could be good for you if it drops lower. Let's see if it holds.
Oh.
You're in at what price?
120, basically 1,020 and
Yeah.
like 12 cents.
Yeah, I don't think the cents really matter, but yeah. Right?
Yeah.
1020.12.
Yeah.
Well, I saw the same thing. It stalled at about 1,020. There wasn't really any more topside orders that were nearby.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think at this point we're probably going to see it fade just because there's nowhere to go. My hope is though they might put some orders right above this high, and that would be annoying and just enough to take out this price
Yeah,
high.
right? It might,
I agree. That would be annoying.
Mhm. That's how they usually do it. They're like, oh, there's a candle up there. Let me just go a little bit higher and watch it happen. It's about to.
And I think they heard you somehow,
Yep.
some way.
I tend to know what the market wants most of the time. It's just a matter of trading it correctly.
Yeah, timing.
hmm Risk to reward. Someone in the chat room also asked, we knew it would hit 55 because of options. It's not knowing, it's what's most likely. And the way I explain it is you have a probability of going to certain prices, of which going to the edge of the expected move is usually pretty common. So it's more likely than not. If we had gone down, we would have been going to about 920 or 915, 920, whatever. And that would have been just as likely. But the key to remember here is that's how wide we expect it. If it goes beyond that, it's not expected. It's a lower probability event. So this is more about just thinking what's the most likely target, and we want to know it before it gets moving so that we have room to the target. So that's helpful for someone who's buying it in anticipation of a move or selling it in anticipation of a drop.
Martinez is asking, are we staying for the call? No, we are off in 5 minutes, man. 4:30, we'll call it. We just want to see here if we can get a nice little drop for Peter. But for the most part, all the action is done on here. And yeah, that's what we usually do. We usually do 3:30 or 4:30 on these earnings play. So we'll be on again more often, especially as we kick off the season now. But yeah, we're just here rooting for Peter, man. That's all we're doing right now. And then after we're done with this, we're going to go have either a celebratory drink or, oh man, let's get better drink from Peter's favorite share. So we're going to drink either way. It's just don't know what we're celebrating or feeling bad about yet.
I'm in pretty much a no risk situation right here, right? We're hovering right below. Yeah. If it comes back up through my entry, I might lose a buck or two, but it's not looking that great for a drop anymore.
It's I don't know if it doesn't make a new high here. Like we've seen this before, right? Where things they pop up, they make a high, and then they just dwindle down, right? We've seen that before. That could happen. That takes a long time, right? So you might have to just set a stop on this and go about your business. But it could go either way. It can go either way.
I mean, the volume's so low. The other thing to keep in mind, it can't move quickly too, right? If it's
yeah, exactly.
Worries me.
Yeah.
What's more likely? Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Well, I was going to say, Carlos said set a stop, and we can't do that. There are no stops.
Right. You can't set no stops on this thing. You're right.
No. After hours trading is its own little unique situation. It's low volume, high volatility, no stops. So you size it.
Yeah.
My big risk here, of course, is spread expansion, right? Where it's just the differential between the bid and ask becomes really large, and that could mess up my trade, even if the price isn't actively moving.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping this for you. Hoping that nice little wave lower, and see where it goes.
It does look like there's a little bit of hesitation at 120 or 1020, but unfortunately, some of the larger orders have moved down to 1,025, which is right above the candle high. So I have a feeling they're going to pop this candle high at some point.
It feels like it to me. It's every time it just gets down to the 1,015, it seems like there's just enough buying support to hold it there. So we'll see. I mean, I guess my hope could be that maybe they just spike it down to be able to grab a few shares and then push it right back up. And if I can get out on the spike, because I'm getting tired already of this.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's the thing. You're sitting there and gotta watch it. So at some point, you want to start your weekend, your long weekend.
I got my finger hovering on the button here because you can't go too far. Like you said, I can't just set a stop and walk away like I normally would do during market hours. So.
We have some traders who took it in the chat room as well. So congrats on everyone who took the long side. I kind of had a feeling that would be the first move. Just the location of it wasn't great for selling, so moving it up first made sense. Peter and I are kind of looking for it to basically roll back over, and unfortunately, I think time and volume are going to be a big issue, and this might be something that we can take a look at Monday and just have a really good thesis for whether or not it's continuing or reversing. The range that it's in would suggest that it might want to roll back down, but you never want to anticipate that because right now it looks like a breakout. So you always want to let it kind of fall back and use 1,000 as kind of like the ceiling, which we're nowhere near that right now. But maybe Netflix is the future. Maybe the resiliency is there. No matter how the range looks, if demand keeps entering a stock, they can keep moving it up. Just doesn't feel like a lot of volume. This feels, the only reason to be up here is kind of feels like to sell it. So
yeah.
Trading.
All right, we are going to leave Peter with his trade here. Peter, let us know on Monday how this goes.
All right, we'll do.
Yeah, friends, there it is. Netflix. Thanks, Jared. Thanks, Brian, earlier for being on with us, and Peter as well. Good luck on this trade here. It's looking dicey, but we'll see.
It is. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend.
It's like
we will see you Monday morning.
every tick up, it's looking dicey. It's looking better. It's looking dicey, and Peter's gonna be doing this for like the next 2 hours.
That's after hours trading.
Guys, have a great. Oh, okay. Hold on. I want to watch this with you, Peter. Let's stick around for a little bit. Hold on a second. Peter might be taking a partial now. 10-10. Jared, thoughts?
10-10.
No, if we're selling, it's going to go through 1,000. So it's 1,000 or bust at this point.
All right.
1,000 or bust. That's a little more aggressive than I'm prepared to be. 10-10. I'll take some of my
take
shares
a partial at least, right?
Yeah, or whenever I give up. So.
Well, let's see which one comes first. You give out waiting, or whenever the price gets there. The laptop, we did give away the laptop to our good buddy Ian Carson. Man, he's on right now. Ian Carson got it.
Ian, what did you? Yeah. Did he pick the membership or the laptop?
I don't know what he picked, but man, I'm glad he won. He's always on every single morning early. So congrats to you, man. Glad you got that. So, friends, take care. Let's see what he says. Right. What he got: laptop or membership. Let's see, membership. Way to go, man. Membership. Way to go. We'll see you in chat, man. Absolutely.
Take care, everybody.
Take care, guys. Have a great weekend. A great long weekend. Off tomorrow. We'll see you guys on Monday. Jared, thanks again, man.
Of course. Later, y'all.